executive function. And what is at stake? Why is this so important for us to talk about? For individuals with disability, what is at stake for them if it's not adequately addressed is poor or inconsistent performance in school and at work, which leads to job security. And we know what that can mean if you cannot maintain a job. So that means you also have financial challenges, leads to stress, and leads to other things, which is really downward, which is something we do not want. So this is why it's important for us as parents, as educators, to actually teach our kids these executive functions, skills. And executive function skills, we are not born with it, but we are born with the ability to learn them. We're born with the ability to learn. So we can all learn them, and we learn them through different games that we play. Even when we're playing hide and go seek with little kids, we're teaching them their memory, their working memory skills. We're building their working memory skills. When we play board game, when you play games like concentration game with the kids, all those is teaching them and leading them and helping them develop their skills. So if anybody have any particular concerns that you have about executive function skills, you can type it in the chat or you can unmute and ask. So while I'm going to check the chat later, here is question number 6. This is where we stopped last month. And the question here is, how can I help my child see planning and organization as life skills and not punishments? How can I help my child see planning and organization as life skills, not punishment? I don't know if anyone have an answer or suggestion for this. How can we help our children see that planning and organization, they are life skills? I can say this maybe before I see somebody that on mute. A lot of our kids, they do not like planning. They do not like to plan. They don't like to plan their clothes that they're going to wear. They don't like to plan it out. They don't like to plan their writing, which is why sometimes they probably don't do well in writing because their writing is not cohesive, simply because they did not take time to plan. And that's why sometimes the time blindness, which we see a lot of it in especially individuals with ADHD. This is where it comes from. It's from lack of planning. And then they forget how long, they really don't have a concept of how long a task will take. So they need some structure built in to help them manage their time. So anyone want to tell us or give us an insight into how can we help our children see planning and organization as life skills? In what other aspect do we need planning besides school? Anyone? Okay. It looks like we didn't want to, some people don't want to talk
Yes,
today.
Moyo Eden. Moyo Eden.
Hi, Pastor Noyo, go ahead.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
We need planning in every aspect of life, everything we do in life. So we have to instill the discipline in the children right from the beginning, even from making them to know to have a regular time that they wake up in the morning, regular wake up time in the morning. And from then, we structure everything they need to do, like going to having the morning devotion with the family, then going to brush. And, you just help them to plan. They know the stages little by little that this is what I have to do in the morning. So it's life skills, skills of daily living. You need to teach them gradually, and gradually they get used to it. And that also transcends to other things like when they go out to the community, you need to plan. When you go to school, what do you do? Go to your teacher, sit down, drop your book bags, everything. You just let them to know that you need to plan to be successful in life. When we begin to instill that discipline, then they'll eventually grow up with it. It's a routine. Gradually, they'll get used to it, little by little, little by little. So we need to constantly remind them.
Remind them.
Even we as adults, we still have to remind ourselves of certain things.
Mhm.
So we just have to be patient to understand that these children have some, we are helping them because uh, they have, I don't want to use the word disability, uh, but we are just helping them so that they will learn how to do things gradually on their own and become independent.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
I need
Um,
to. I'm sorry. I just on that part, I just kind of confused on that because when you say we need to help them, like, how long does it take? Because I have been doing this for 5 years. Wake up on time with my child, but it's still difficult. Like getting to the bathroom, focusing. Like, how long do you have to do this? Because you get to the point you just get tired, you get fed up. Like, what are you doing? You wake up on time, it goes to bed on time. His bedtime hasn't routine hasn't changed,
mhm.
but getting up focusing on the task and the morning task is just difficult. How long is it that you need? Is it like something you need constantly every day? This is like 5 years now. I
Mm,
need help on that, please.
okay. Thank you. Thank you to both of our speakers. And I also noticed on in the chat box, Diana did mention that job training programs might help practice daily life skills and grow grace with them. Okay, thank you. So all those answers are correct. And Patricia, is also true that it can take some time um, to build those skills because those are skills that we grow over time. And some of the answers that I have here, maybe I'll just stick to it, to the answers that I have here, and then hopefully maybe I can address that as I go on. The first thing we have to do is to shift our language. So instead of telling them, but I told you to plan. Didn't I tell you this before? Didn't I say that last night? Why am I telling you the same thing over and over? Instead of going that route, we really want to use empowering, real world framing. Like instead of all those things that I just said, we want to come back to empowering them. Let's make a plan so that your ideas can actually come to life, so that what you want to do can actually happen. So we change the language from kind of being negative to being positive. Because when they hear, remember, this is something that had to do with the brain. So when they hear me negative or the anger kind of, it creates anxiety for them and it makes it harder for them to learn. But when we come from a calming perspective to give them, okay, you connect it to to their interest, connect it to what they enjoy, and then they see how planning help them. For instance, organize a if they if I say, well, which child doesn't like the game thing? So if you use that because they like a game or because they like sport, and then use that in order for you not to miss the warm up. So we need to pack your gear tonight so that you're not late in the morning. Because in the morning, if you're looking for shoe or you're looking for socks, then you might be late. So let's pack it tonight. So that would they begin to see the essence of planning because it does not come natural for them like it does for you and for me. So also model for them, no mandates. So now let them see you planning and you can now voice that out for them to see what you're doing. I'm writing my grocery list so that I don't forget what we really need. So I don't forget what you really love. And if I don't write the grocery list, if we don't have a list, I'm going to forget some things. And that's why it's important. And I'm not just the only one that's writing it. We're all writing it together. Like in my house, we do have a whiteboard when the kids were younger and everybody can write into it. So now we're planning. We're making plan for our next grocery store. Make it visual. For some kids, they need a visual. They need something that is interactive, like the one I just addressed. So if you put in their room a place for them to plan and what time for him to plan, and gradually it becomes a routine. It becomes an habit. It's something, this is what I do before I go to bed. every day. So it's part of our daily routine. It's part of what we do. So before I go to bed, is the time that I pick up my clothes for tomorrow. Is when I pack up my lunch. Is when I pack my bag. Is when I put my bag by the door so that when I'm leaving in the morning, all I'm doing is grab my bag. If that becomes, of course, you're going to do it with them in the beginning until they get a hang of it and then they start doing it themselves. Sometimes you still have to remind them or create that visual for the reminder so that they can look at it. This is what I do at this time. This is the morning routine. This is I come back from school routine. This is dinner routine. This is bedtime routine. So that can be a way to help them. And visually, not trust their brain to remember that, oh, at 8 p.m., you have to pack your bag or you have to pick up your clothes for tomorrow. Because even for me as an adult, if I don't pick my clothes the night before, I'm going to waste like 10 minutes in the morning. So, and also celebrate progress, not perfection. When you see progress, yes, let them see. And you want to highlight, oh, you did a good job. No, look at how you finish. Because you finished early, you were able to watch TV a little longer. Oh, planning really pay off for you today. So you want them to really see the results of that planning and organizing and highlight that every time you see it so that it will encourage them. Research proved to us that any behavior that is rewarded will be repeated. So we want to do that. You use real life relevance for them, like athletes. How did they get so good with what they do? Is because they actually plan and they practice. And that's why we're going to practice, because we also want to be successful. So I'm going to say, do not give up. Maybe one or two things you can shift in the way that you communicate that to them and in the way that you reward him or her, and take it slow, one step at a time, bite-sized chunks. We're not going to do everything the same, perfect the same time. We laser focus on what one particular skill and then work on that. And when you see results, then we can move to something else. Does that help a little?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
So the next question, if my child always procrastinate, is it better? I don't remember the question. To step in with reminders or to tell them or to let them experience the results of running out of time. Anyone want to give us their take on that? You have a child who procrastinate. It's time to do homework. That's the time they want to use the bathroom. That's the time they remember, oh, mom, oh, I just need to, no, I think I'm really hungry. I'm really, anything to take them away from that assignment. And they'll tell you, I'll do it. Mom, I told you I'll do it. I just said I'll do it. And then you get into that argument. So what do we do?
I remind him I'm on his case. I sit next to him like his age. Honestly, this I know he's like, I'll do it. No. I remind him. I
Okay.
sit next to him. He gets mad. I don't care. I'm still gonna do what I have to do. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? All right. So I actually have, and I know my slide is kind of worthy today, because somebody asked me, oh, I really like to have the slide. And I take picture of the slide, but then everything you said is not on the slide. So I try to give as much information as I can on the slide today for that particular person. So let's think of that. The answer, you think in terms of scaffolding, not saving them. So you're not trying to do it for them, but you actually you address it based on the levels where they are. So just like you will not let a child sink while they're swimming, the same way you will not let them just fail, you know. Um, so you want to really train them like a bike with wheel, and after a while you're going to take the wheel off, because the goal is independence. You want them to be able to do it themselves eventually. But before they get there, it takes a process. So you might need to use a pre-planned reminders. Would you like to remind you in 10 minutes before bedtime to start? Or would you like to use your own timer? So you're giving them a little choice. So right there, they have the autonomy. They feel like they're in charge. You're not just directing them and controlling them and just, you know, and just, oh, do this, do this, do this, because they don't like that. And most research shows that it really doesn't work, which I know is a challenge for us as parents. But we just have to, train ourselves so that they can be successful. Yes, allow natural consequences. Research has proven that giving them natural consequences, allowing natural consequences for them is better than punishment. But we want to do that within safe limits. Just like I said, we're not going to let them drown because they don't listen. So we have to do it with safe limits. You want to coach them instead of lecturing them. So and lecturing them is like, oh, I told you so. I said that to you, but if you have listened to me, it will have been different. So we don't want to go that route. You want to let them reflect. So how did that feel that you didn't have enough time? Okay. What do you think will help next time? Will the checklist help better? Will an app, a reminder, help you next time? And you want them to really reflect and make decision, because when they make a decision, then there is tendency that they're going to follow it because you're not directing them. They are part of that decision, even though you're guiding them to get to that point. And build systems together. Just like I was saying before, a system maybe with the teacher and with yourself and the teacher, you build this support system around them and build that together. Um, Initiating a task, starting a task, and completing tasks is one of the hardest one for individuals with ADHD. Is one of the biggest one for them. So you want to help them break large tasks. If you have a project, you want to help them break it into smaller pieces, or talk to the teacher about breaking it into pieces for them, so that, and then the accountability is also built in. So when you finish your research, you're going to present it to the teacher. The teacher will give you a check mark. Then it's time for you to write about this and that. Maybe the first part, you finish that, that is due in 2 days. You finish that, you show it to the teacher. So it's kind of incremental instead of a whole project. And then there's the last day, they don't even know where that timing is. Stay calm and consistent. There is a 2 minute video I want to show us about procrastination.
Monday.com, the opposite of any
Can you
work
hear
platform
it?
I've tried in the past. Tried other work management platforms, not naming
Yes.
names.
Okay.
They all suck. Monday, total opposite.
How to crush procrastination with the 10-minute rule. What if you could crush procrastination and boost your productivity in just 10 minutes? Sounds like magic, right? Get ready to be amazed. In this video, I'll reveal the 10-minute rule, a game-changing hack that turns daunting tasks into easy wins. Let's dive in. 1. Set the timer. Pick that task you've been dodging and set a timer for a mere 10 minutes. 2. Focus, focus, focus. For those 10 minutes, shut out distractions and dive into the task with laser-like focus. The goal? No interruptions, just pure, unfiltered productivity. 3. Start small, win big. This rule works like magic by easing you into tasks. Instead of stressing over the entire project, you're committing to just 10 minutes. Easy, right? 4. Check in after 10 minutes. When the timer dings, take a moment to reflect. Odds are you'll find yourself in the groove and want to keep going. Momentum is your new best friend. Why the 10-minute rule is your secret weapon. Overcoming inertia. The hardest part of any task is just starting. The 10-minute commitment helps you blast through that initial resistance. Creating momentum. Once you're in motion, it's easier to keep going. Those first 10 minutes often turn into a productivity power hour as you get into the flow. Reducing anxiety. Breaking tasks into tiny 10-minute chunks makes them less overwhelming, easing that stress that comes with big projects. Building a habit. Consistently using the 10-minute rule trains your brain to tackle tasks head-on, making future projects a breeze. Pro tips to supercharge your success. Choose wisely. Start with tasks that feel like a mountain. The 10-minute rule is especially awesome for those big, scary jobs. Stay flexible. If after 10 minutes you're still dragging your feet, that's okay. Take a breather, reassess, and tackle it again later. Track your triumphs. Keep a log of your 10-minute wins. It'll help you see just how much you can accomplish with this tiny but mighty technique. In a nutshell, the 10-minute rule is a simple yet powerful tool to help you crush procrastination by making even the biggest tasks feel doable and downright conquerable. Let's make procrastination a thing of the past, one 10-minute victory at a time.
Okay. I think I need to stop there. Okay.